Today, we will be looking at an Automag 45 Hardballer. Not to be confused with the later AMT Hardballer, which is simply a stainless 1911 clone. The Automag Hardballer is a variant of the Automag pistol, which has been scaled down to fire 45 ACP. I don't want to go into the entire history of the Automags. The history of this variant is that Harry Sanford got the idea to make a 45 ACP version of the Automag. A prototype was made, that one being numbered XPM001. It closely resembled the Automag with only a shorter barrel and frame. They thought it wasn't very comfortable in the hand, which led to a second prototype numbered HS-1. That was essentially the same form as this pistol here. A couple other numbers are known to have existed, one being HB-1 and the other HS-3. This pistol here is numbered XHB-1. I have no actual history on the pistol as it did not come with any provenance. So when exactly this one was made and by who is up for debate. What we can say is that with the exception of the first prototype, all examples are essentially the same with minor differences in finish. Now let's take a closer look and compare it to a standard Automag Model 180. Here is the Automag 180 and its cartridge, the 44 AMP. And here is the Automag Hardballer and its cartridge, the 45 ACP. As you can see, the difference in size of the cartridges is quite significant, just as the difference in the size of the pistols is significant. Operation is essentially identical in every way. We have the thumb safety, slide stop, hammer, rear sight, takedown lever. Here we can see thumb safety, slide stop, hammer, rear sight, takedown lever. Everything is the same. The dimensions are all a bit different, as we can see here from the bottom. This is much shorter. From the side view, we see, if we line them up, trying to get it exact, just about like so. See, the grip is slightly shorter and has the arch here. It's difficult to see that it's shorter from front to back, although not significantly due to this arch, but up here it's noticeable in the hand. Barrel is shorter by about 2 inches. If we look here, the distance from the front of the frame to the rear is slightly shorter. The width is, of course, identical, or close enough to it. Next, we're going to field strip the pistols and get a look at the insides. The magazines are already removed, so it's just a simple matter of locking the slide to the rear fully. Admittedly easier to do with the magazine. Then we flip down this lever and the barrel comes off. Same here. The recoil springs on the Hardballer are noticeably weaker, but still quite stiff. Now let's look at here. Now if we look here, we can see the bolt is shorter. From another angle here. Fair difference in length. It's difficult to see, but the bolt faces should be identical. The 45 ACP and 44 AMP have the same base dimensions, so there's no change in there. Unlike the frame, which would have been made by cutting down a standard automag frame, the bolt would have been made from scratch. Here we can take a look at the barrel assemblies. The barrel extensions are basically the same, except for being slightly shorter on this one. That would have also likely been cut down. The barrel, other than being shorter, are a bit different between these two. The rib on a Pasadena-made automag is more like this one. The later examples like this were changed a bit. Now, if you look here, you can see similar profile. I would ideally like to show you the differences in the magazines, but this Hardballer did not come with a magazine, which is a problem I am working to remedy. Since, of course, with so few examples made, there are no spare magazines available. That is requiring a bit of effort. Fortunately, what I do have is 1911 magazines. This one being a Wilson Combat 10-round magazine. Now, if we look, the magazines are obviously a bit different other than the size. The angle is slightly different at the base. But at the feed lips, it is nearly identical, certainly within a couple degrees. This is also rounded at the back versus flat on the 1911 style magazine, but that's less of an issue. Now, inserting these into the guns, we can see this fits quite well. A bit tight, but it goes in place well enough. You can see here, inserted, they present nearly identically. Now, I have had to remove a little material from the magazine to make it clear the bolt lugs right here. See, normally this would be more rounded, but I've squared it off. Functions fine like so. And with the barrel extension, as you can see, functions fine other than not locking the slide open, which is a problem for a later date. I've taken the grips off for this portion so that we can look at the differences on the frame. Now, if you look, the mechanics are essentially identical. From a mechanical standpoint, there really is no difference between the two pistols. The shape of the grip is where we get some noticeable differences. If you look closely, you can see some signs of the welding that was done over here and up here. And you can see some porosity on the back strap. This is obviously a cast piece. Same on this side. Some welding marks here and here. And a bit of porosity right there. Overall, a good job, in my opinion at least. I want to discuss function. I have test-fired the pistol with a few varieties of ammunition. I will show that footage now.
Go.
Now, as you should be able to see from that, we have some functional issues, mostly stovepipes. You should note that function becomes more reliable with stronger ammo. The thing is here that the strongest load I fired, this Hornady Critical Defense, this is plus P ammunition, and this is a 185 grain bullet at, as you can see here, says 1150 FPS. Now, for reference, a 44 AMP will give about 1450 to 1650 FPS with a 185 grain bullet. So I suspect our problem here is the ammo is simply not strong enough, as the only major difference here is that the recoil springs are a bit weaker. I will be following up with this after I've gotten this magazine here modified so that it can lock the slide open, and I get some more ammunition to test, and hopefully you'll be able to see this pistol functioning as it should.